Hi, everybody. My name is Beth Richter. We're just a few minutes early, so I'm going to stall for just a little bit here. Tonight is a presentation of our Parent University series, and I'm very honored to be here with our data services team. So we have here Tim Woomert, who is our manager of data services. He's going to be leading us through some of our steps for connecting to our campus parent account and how to find all of our information. And then we have Bonnie McAckern, who's an applications specialist in the data services team. And Bonnie is going to be walking us through a live registration so you can kind of see how the steps of that all go. Our host tonight is Julie O'Hara. She works in the superintendent's office, and she's serving as like our communications host for this event. So she'll be the one that will relay any questions from the Facebook chat. So if you have a question and you put it in there, Julie will let us know that there were any questions. And my name is Beth Richter. I'm one of the instructional technology coordinators, and I'm one of the organizers of our Parent University series. So tonight our goal is to just do a basic walkthrough of registration so you can see this process. We'll make sure that you know how to access login information as a parent. We're going to demonstrate, like I said, a walkthrough of registering students, and that's for existing students, or I'm sorry, Tim, it's going to be for new students tonight, right?
Yeah, we'll go through a full new student one.
A full new student, but we'll make sure that you understand how that works, including if you have multiple children, like siblings that you're going to be registering. And then we're going to show you where you can access all the resources and supports and answer any questions that you might have about the registration process. And if you happen to be watching this live and you see that there's somebody that you think would be benefiting from this, but they're missing it, what we're going to do is we're going to take this recording of this walkthrough tonight, and we're going to put it in a Parent University newsletter with some slide resources, all the website links, and then you can watch it on demand or share it with any other parent or a friend of yours that maybe is missing this event that might need assistance. So all of that's going to be published on Friday for you so that you can have full access to it. You can pause and all those good things that you're gonna need to do for registration. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. If you're just tuning in now, I'm sorry we started just a few minutes early. So again, this is Tim Woomert, who is our data services manager, and Bonnie McAckern. She's going to be doing the walkthrough tonight. She is our application specialist, one of our application specialists for the data services team. I'm Beth Richter. I'm an instructional technology coordinator, and I help organize some of the Parent University newsletters. And then our host tonight is Julie O'Hara from the superintendent's office. She'll be the one that will be relaying any questions that you might have. So tonight we're going to be doing a registration walkthrough. And again, all of this will be recorded and available so that you can watch it on demand and share it with anybody else. So Tim, if you want to go ahead and share your screen and take it away, we're ready to go.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so yeah, my name's Tim Woomert. I'm manager of the Data Services Department, District 15. And we just wanted to kind of give everybody a walkthrough of registration for the district. It's open now. Registration is really important because this is how we get the updated contact information for everybody. So we know who you are, where you are, and we can make sure that we can reach out to you and communicate with you throughout the year. So what I have here on screen is our district website. If you go up to resources, mouse over that, and then go down here to registration and enrollment, it'll take you to a page that has pretty much everything you need to know just right from the start. Over here on the right hand or on the left hand side, there's a data services column. Under that, Infinite Campus, Campus Parent, that gives information on logging into Campus Parent ourselves. Campus Parent is the website for our Infinite Campus, our student information system. That's where we store everything about your students, their grades, their attendance, their enrollment records. It's also where you have an interface to get through to see grades, attendance, what your child's schedule is, things like that. So this is where you can go to this page. It's in English, it's in Spanish. We have videos that go through the registration process, explain Campus Parent to you, goes through how to get the web app on your phone, all that kind of fun stuff. So we just wanted to bring that up to you. We'll come back to this in a sec. Right below that, there's the registration enrollment procedures you can see on the left-hand side. If you click on that page, it takes you to somewhere. This is a nice launch pad, especially for, we'll go into new registrations for families who are new to the district. If you're an existing family, it'll take you into Campus Parent, where you can log into the account you already have and see how to register your students for next year. Now, I already have somebody up here, so I'm going to bring you to what Campus Parent actually looks like once you log in. This is like a cooking show on TV. We're already made part of it for you. So this is like a standard parent login. On the left-hand side here, you'll see the navigation for the student. If you go under here where it says more and click on it, you'll get this little update page, which has a link back to the district website, a link to the school. The school we're using tonight as Lincoln is on one of our 16 elementary schools. And then you can see where you see it set up for transportation. Online registration is right here. If you click on this, this will actually take you into your student's online registration site. And here you can have the choice to do a new registration if you're adding a child to your family for school purposes, or if you're just re-enrolling your kids for next year. You just click on the appropriate button here. So if you're already familiar with Campus Parent, you've probably been through this. This will be the third year we've done online registration. So a lot of you have probably seen this already. But I wanted to go back through that just so you were kind of familiar where that falls on the page. Okay. So I'm going to take you back here real quick to the district website. There are two buttons on this page, and this is what's important if you have a new family. And by new, we mean you don't have any children that have gone to our district schools before. So you're totally new. You don't know anything about us, and we don't know anything about you. And because of that, we're going to ask you for some information. And this is how you can get into it right here. Oh, before I forget, I'm sorry, I skip over too fast. If you don't have a Campus Parent account and you're already registered in the district, you'll need to reach out to your school where your student attends. There's a certain code they'll have to provide for you. It's called a registration key. They can give that to you, and you'll need that to set up your Campus Parent account. The reason we have that is it's a security measure to lock it in, so we verify that these are your students that you have access to, and we want to make sure that's, you know, it's really secure. So you'll have to reach out to the school to do that. It's no big deal. They look these up all the time. So that's a good place to get started. If you've forgotten your password and you're locked out, you don't know what to do, again, reach out to your student school. They can help you with it. If you need help, we'll probably talk about this at the end as well. If you need help, your school administration can help you. But what we ask is you set up an appointment with them. Don't just drop in like first thing in the morning when everything else is going on, because it's really hectic if you've ever been in a school right when the buses are dropping off. So if you set up a time with them, they'll be happy to help you through whatever questions you have. Okay. I think that's about all I wanted to cover. I'm going to throw it over to Bonnie here. She's going to take you through a whole new registration. Now, if you're an existing family coming back, you're still going to get, you're going to see all the same screens. There'll be some things you don't have to go through in as much detail if you're a returning family. But for the new folks, there's a lot of stuff we're going to go through. So Bonnie's going to take you through every step of it. So I will stop sharing this and throw it to her.
Okay, thank you, Tim. And so I'm Bonnie McCachran. I'm an application specialist in the Data Services Department. And actually our goal, and I think we'll have enough time, is to completely walk through a new student registration. And then we can kind of quickly go into an existing family registration and show you how that looks a little bit different when you first log in, and work through at least part of that. So let me share, oops, the correct screen. Okay, So as Tim showed us a few minutes ago, you're going to go to the district resource page and registration. If you are a new family, you're going to click here and it gives you a little pop-up to say, if you want to register, click right here. You come to our landing page here and you're going to click right at the very first one, Infinite Campus, New Families. The first screen that comes up, you're going to be able to choose your preference of English or Spanish. And you're going to, again, confirm that you are starting a new registration, or if you have begun a registration and weren't able to complete it, you would be able to return to your saved registration by clicking over here. And we'll address that in a minute. But we're starting right now a new registration. And you're going to type in, please very accurately, because all the information that you enter into this application is what's going to be stored in our student records. So all family information, everything that you type in here, it can be changed if you contact the school, but the more accurate you are, the better. You do need to enter your date of birth. We need to have your email address. You do have to have an email address to set up an account. We do have in our help information some suggestions for setting up an email account if you don't currently have one. You should not have anyone who has previously attended in the district, and you need to confirm that you are not a robot, and now you're ready to begin registration. Oops.
This is actually really good, Bonnie, because we have to make sure that it has a valid email address. So it has to have gmail.com, yahoo.com, hotmail.com. So that's a good example.
Yep. So, and I'm so sorry, I'm looking at a little bit different angle here. So we need to choose the correct registration year. And if this is for next year, it is the top one, the 21-22. You need to make sure that you choose that. And actually, I meant to put in my ccsd15.net address. So just be sure that you're choosing 21-22 for next year. 2021 is still available because we have families who are still registering this year. And you can see when I made an error, campus highlighted that and said, you can't move on. You have to have all of this information complete. So we're going to try that again. And it gives you an application number. Please make note of this application number because until you complete this application and submit it, we are not able to easily track that. And there might be some information in here that you don't have readily available and you're going to need to go back to the application. So please, type it into your phone or however, your preferred method for storing that information is. Just make a note of it. And we're going to confirm that. And it is opening up my actual application. And I'm not sure, are you able to see the pop-up correctly? Okay, let me.
Nope, not yet. It hasn't popped up.
Well.
When you're sharing your screen, you probably just need to share the entire window.
Yeah, so let me reshare, sorry, for those of you at home. It didn't really give me that option, but here. I can share the application itself. Are we good?
Yeah, it says, welcome to the District 15 online registration parent test. You're there.
Okay, thank you, Beth. All right, so you're going to type in your name again. And again, as you work through here, your application number is going to be visible at the top of the page. We give you a list of the information that you're going to need to have available to complete this, your household information, parent information, emergency contacts, your medical information. So you have an opportunity to kind of make sure you have all of that collected. So we're going to go ahead. And the first thing that you need to do, the first area here, is your primary household information. That is where you live and your main phone number. We have a link here to see the fees that are for kindergarten through 8th grade. You do need to check this box that says, I understand student registration fees. will be available by June. They are not currently available for payment, but you're acknowledging that. Campus puts a red asterisk by anything that must be completed. You need to, at the bottom of each area, click the next button to move on to the next area. You're going to type in your address and just the number and then direction, the street address, and if you'd like to enter in drive or whatever, we do need to have the city or village and your zip code. It shows you down here the information that you've entered. If you see that something is not quite right, please go back and make your correction here. We do need to have you provide proof of residency. There is a link here that you can click on that takes you to the district webpage, to the area that explains exactly what documentation is needed. We're going to click next. And this explains a little bit more about the documentation that you're providing and that you're guaranteeing that you are the person, that you live here, and you're responsible for this student.
Hey, Bonnie, can I ask a clarifying question about the proof of residency documents?
Please.
What grades need to provide that documentation? Is it every year you register or just certain years?
It is not every year. If you are a new student, a new family in the district, you need to provide that. And then down here, we have a note that tells you that this it is for all incoming kindergarten students or new students and returning students next year who will be in 4th or 7th grade will need to provide that documentation as well. And so you will need to take that information into your school to provide your proof of residency. We haven't always done that in years past. This is a little bit of a different procedure. So we're requiring that for students who next year will be in 4th and 7th grade, even if they are returning students.
Awesome. Thanks for that clarification. I remember that from the recent board meeting that's a new thing.
Yes. And are you a current resident of CCSD 15? And yes, I am. Do you own the home? That could be yes or no. If you're a renter, then that's fine as well. Then once you have completed all of this information at the very bottom, you're going to save continue, and that's going to move you into the next area here. And that is going to be your parent guardian information. You're going to add any guardians in the household in this area, beginning with yourself. So Campus has already pulled this information that I typed in on the very first screen. I identified myself as parent test. I put in my birth date. I did not put in my legal gender, and we do need to know that. And if I did not live at this address, I would uncheck this box, but this is a brand new application. This is more used when we have families who are moving before they enter a new registration. So they need to have my phone number. It populated automatically the email address that I entered finally correctly from the first screen. Do I wish to have my phone and email information included in the PTA student directory? Yes, of course, because my children, I hope, will have friends who would like to reach out to them. And, you know, a lot of times parents want to be able to extend birthday invitations. So that's obviously a personal choice, but you need to make that choice here if you want your information included in the directory. The next tab, and this is something that the state requires us to collect. I am not a member of the military. So now I have myself added in here. If there is another guardian, which I do, you're going to click new or add another person. So this is co-parent. You can enter a middle name if you would like. Last name is Test. Coincidentally, we have the same birth date. And this person is a male, lives at this address. If this person did not, I would uncheck this and down here be able to type in an alternate address or say I will not provide an address for this person. But we're going to leave this checked for now to expedite this. So we need contact information for that person so they can be reached at all times. The schools use this information in an emergency, which hopefully, it's not going to be necessary, but if your child becomes ill at school, we need to have a way to reach you. This person coincidentally also has the same email address that I do. And some families do share emails, and that's okay. You can, if you use a family email, you can enter them both in for this parent. Just know that any communication is going to go to that email one time for the parents. And yes, please include this information. Also not a member of the military. And now we have these two parents added. If I needed to make a change, I could click edit and review and go back in there. If I look at this and everything looks fine, I don't need to add another guardian. There are only two of us. We can save and continue. Emergency contacts. Campus gives you an opportunity, and we require that you have someone added as an emergency contact. We need to have someone in there. You're going to add a new emergency contact, and campus pops up with this little message and reminds you, you are already entered in the system as a guardian. So I have two guardians in the system. I'm not going to enter either one of us in again as an emergency contact. We are making the assumption that the guardian is an emergency contact, and we will have an opportunity to rank those in the order that they should be contacted. So I'm going to add in here my neighbor Tom, who is home. I don't know his birth date. That's okay. There's not a red asterisk there, so I don't have to complete that. He is a male, and I need to enter a phone number for him. And save, continue. I want to add also a grandparent. So married grandparent who is not as available as my next door neighbor Tom, who's home all day long. But I'd like to have a second person in there just in case. I am done. I don't need to add another emergency contact. You could add 3 or 4. Some people need to, add a few more people. You're absolutely welcome to do that. I'm going to save and continue because I have completed the emergency contacts here. Now we are up here working in the student tab. So as a new family, I need to add a new student. I'm going to put in child's first name. If you have a middle name for your child, we would appreciate you entering that. The more information we have about your child, the more accurate we can be. So please enter that in. This child is a male, and he's going into kindergarten next year. This is pretty exciting. You'll see that when I entered, and I'm going to go back to nothing. When I entered kindergarten as the grade level, the screen changes because we have a couple of things that we collect, a couple of pieces of information that we collect for kindergarten students that we don't need to get from older students. So our kindergarten is half day, and we give you the opportunity to select your preference if you have one for morning, afternoon, or no preference. I prefer PM. And I'm going to put in here because of our family work schedule. Now, entering this information and making your wishes known doesn't guarantee that your child is going to be placed there. It depends on, staffing throughout the district and the other members. The district does their best to accommodate those wishes, but just know that it is not an absolute guarantee. But this will be populated in a form that goes to the superintendent's office, and they take a look at that and do their best to accommodate your wishes. The other opportunity that you have as a parent of an incoming kindergartner is for your child to participate in the dual language program. And there's a link here. I don't want to pop up the link because I'm going to have to change my screen, but we'll get back to this later because on the form itself or on the documentation, we have a screenshot of what that looks like. But you can click here and learn about the program. And then if you would like to request that your child participate, you can click here and fill out the form. Actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is for more information, you would click here, and to fill out the form that you would prefer your child participate, you can click here. Again, that's not a guarantee. It depends on how many people request, but we do take that into account. So we have, oh, I didn't put in the date of birth.
And I think that's a great example. Infinite Campus is really nice about that. Anytime there's any field that you forget, it highlights you and won't let you go on into the next one, which is really awesome.
Yes. So is this child Hispanic Latino? No. And you can click any of these that apply. More than one is acceptable here. We must collect this information. You cannot move on without answering these questions. That's a federal law that we have to report that information. Again, you're going to collect next. This child lives with both parents, legal guardian. You have several choices here. Is your living arrangement dependent on assistance from others? Do you lack adequate fixed and/or safe housing? If you do, click yes, and we will have someone contact you to see if we are able to help you with some accommodations that you might need. In this case, no. Student services. If your child has a current IEP, please let us know here that we can, take that into account and address your child's needs before they begin with our program. In this case, no, we have no 504 IEP or emergency health care plan. Is a language other than English spoken in your home? We're going to say yes. We speak English and French. Does your child speak a language other than English? No, my child does not. If they did, you would say yes. And it would say, again, what language does your child speak at home? If you answered yes to either of these questions, has your child ever received English as a second language or English language learner services? We need to know about that. In this case, no. You have the opportunity to have communication sent to you in your home language if you would like, and report cards as well. Previous school. There is no previous school for my kindergarten child. If I were moving from another district, I would need to fill this out for my older students. So this is my child's original enrollment in District 15. We need to know what country your child was born in. You can fill this out. Oops. And if you're moving from another state, we would like to know that, or from another school in Illinois. Oops, sorry, those are actually no. Is your child currently expelled or not in good standing in another district? Health requirements, you need to certify that you understand that you must provide proof that your child has received all the required immunizations by October 15th of the school year. And yes, I accept those health requirements. When we entered emergency contacts and guardian information earlier, I said that you would be able to come and rank the order that you would like people contacted. And here's where you do this under the relationships tab on the student. So parent test, this is the child's mother. She is a guardian. She would like to get mail. She would like access to the parent portal and messenger communication about the child. This parent is going to be the second contact. So the second person that is contacted about that. Co-parent test is the father. His job is a little more flexible. So we want the school to contact him first if there is an emergency with this student. So he is contact sequence 1, mother is contact sequence 2. And this kind of explains all of these boxes here. Campus gives you an explanation as to what those mean. These are our other relationships, the emergency contacts that I entered. So Tom Neighbor, I'm going to fill this in and say he's my neighbor. And he's a little more available, even though he's not related to my child. So I'd like him to be our emergency contact number 3. And Mary grandparent, she lives a little further away. So she's going to be number 4 in our sequence here. Every year, you need to sign off on your agreement with the district's technology documents. And there's a link to read through the documentation here. I would strongly suggest that you do that because clicking this button acknowledges that you're agreeing to all of the information. So it will take a little bit of time, but please click the link, read through everything. There are many other permissions that we have to have updated every year. We need to have our FERPA information. And again, you can click here and read through that. The student handbook, very important. And again, when you click these acknowledgements, you're agreeing that you have read and will abide by everything outlined in these documents.
And if I could just chip in about the FERPA, because I know sometimes we talk about that in the technology department. Even if you do not agree for information to be shared under FERPA, you still need to check that box to move on. You simply write a letter and submit it to the principal as it states in order to be excluded from that. And that's a letter that has to be submitted annually.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, but so even if you've done it before, you have to do it again for the upcoming school year. And do you give permission for us to bill Medicaid for any services that we provide to your child? Annual health registration. We must have updated information on your child's health annually. If your son or daughter does have a primary health care provider, we're going to ask for that person's information here and phone numbers, etc. Do they have a dental care provider? Oops. Okay, there's my doctor's phone number. They do not have a dental provider at this time. Permission to treat. Please read this. Check that box. Does your student have a medical condition that requires medication on a regular basis at home or at school? And there are links here to all of the medical documentation that you may need. If your child does have any medication that they need to take, particularly at school, but we also need to know about that at home, you would click yes here. And on the next page, you would need to fill out some more complete information. In the interest of time, I'm going to click no and go on to the next. So take the time, please, to go through this medical information very carefully. Click yes for any of these that apply to your student. There's a whole long list here of medical conditions or other things that might be of issue. So please take the time to read through those and click any that apply. Move on to the next. If your child has a medical condition, if your child has absolutely no medical conditions whatsoever, you can click this button. But that applies to very few of our children, unfortunately. So I'm going to add a condition here. My child has allergies, not severe, but enough that they might have some issues at school. So you can see when I clicked add a condition, I have a drop-down menu here. And then I must also fill in this box. And we're going to say allergic to peanuts. The rest of these, well, this is a yes because I just put that in. So yes, they have allergies. Their most recent reaction was, let's say, on New Year's Day. And they are allergic to peanuts. we need to fill out all of this information. They have not required an epinephrine in the past, but yes, they do have a prescription for epinephrine. The rest of this is all no, and I'm going to move ahead. My child has no medications. If I try and move on, you can see that campus gives me a little red circle around there and tells me I have to choose either this or add medications. We're going to say no medications here. And now it will let me move on. Pesticide notification, if this defaults to no, if you would like to be notified, change that to a yes and move on. Read through this transportation information, please. It explains the transportation policies of the district, and it has a link to download an application for paid transportation if your child doesn't qualify for free bus. You have the opportunity to request for paid transportation. You would click here to open that information up. And if your child is a bus rider, they will receive a bus tag, and you must click this again, like the FERPA information. If I don't want this, I need to contact the school secretary by email and request that my child's information not be printed on the bus tag. So save and continue, and campus does its little spinny thing. So I have my child now so close to being registered for kindergarten. If you have more than one child that you would like to register, you can go down here and add a new student. We're not going to move through that whole process again, but you can put as many children on the same application as you would like by just clicking add new student here.
And Bonnie, will it carry through all the information if I just click that add a new student?
Most of it will. You're going to have to go through the student medical information. You're going to have to go through many of those student files individually for every student. Every year we have to have that updated. So good question. But your household information, you will not have to re-enter all of that.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So save and continue. Oh, we're at the end. So here's what I would suggest. You are ready to submit. Prior to submitting, you can go back. Once you submit your application, you can make no changes to it. So once you've submitted it, it goes to the school. The school secretary reads through it, processes it. They will email you with whatever information they need to complete your application, whatever proof of residency documents you need to provide. All new families must fill out a home language survey. That is a paper document. Even if your child only speaks English and only English is spoken in your home, we need to have that document. So the school office will contact you with the information that they still need. I would recommend here you have the opportunity to open up and save a copy of your application. You don't have to, but I would do that. I would suggest that you do. If you submit your application and realize the next day, oh my gosh, I put down, Tom Neighbor's incorrect phone number, you can, or maybe you forgot about an allergy, you put down your child's allergies and you forgot an important one. You can call the school. I would recommend you do that as quickly as possible and ask them to unsubmit your application. Then it comes back to you and you can make any changes. Once the school's processed it, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. But if you realize it within the next day, you can ask them to unsubmit. Once it's processed, the school can always help you make changes to the information that's in your student record. So we're going to submit this with the big red submit button. And it says, are you sure you're ready? You cannot make any changes. And yes, I am absolutely sure that I am ready to submit my child's application. And again, you have the chance to come back and save or print a copy of your file for your records.
And just like you said, Bonnie, on the other pages, the application number is always on that top. So that's probably, Bonnie, you taught me that's the most important thing to keep track of, and write that down someplace safe, because then if you need to refer to something, then you can always have that application number.
And actually, even if you have to contact the school after you've submitted your application, if you can tell them your application number, they can go right to that application and take care of it for you much more quickly than they can sorting through all of the applications. We're receiving many applications every day. So if you have the number, that's just going to save everybody a lot of time. So that is much appreciated. So I think we're going to, and I'm going to have to go back in and reshare. So I'm going to show you just really quickly what it looks like if you are a returning parent. And I'm going to go back into the screen that Tim had showed us earlier. So, you know, I've already logged into my portal account. I've been using this for years. I use it to view grades and all of that. So I am logged into my portal account. And I'm going to go to More and Online Registration. Oops, hold on. That is not a good example. Got to find the right one. Okay, let's do this. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. And
I was
actually,
feeling pretty good about how this was going until this moment. So I'm an existing parent. I'm going to go to the same place, to the registration enrollment page. Only I'm going to come down here and log in as an existing family. And I'm going to come over here to the second icon and choose existing family. I'm going to log into my account. And hopefully it's going to work properly this time. I'm going to go over here to More and go to Online Registration. And now it's going to work correctly. So I need to register my child, who is right now a student in the district and will be returning next year. And I'm going to add another student. So I'm going to click here to go to existing students. And it takes me to this landing page and shows me who I already have in my household that has a registration this year. So I'm going to make sure I have registration year 21-22, and I see that student test is already included in this application, and their online registration has not yet been submitted. I'm just beginning this process. So I'm going to begin the registration. Now, are you seeing this okay? Because this didn't pop up in a separate window. So just making sure.
yep,
Okay.
it's looking good.
So this is a little bit easier process because campus knows who I am now. I've just logged in through the parent portal and it's saying, here's your phone number. Is that right? I do still have to acknowledge the registration fees and click next. It tells me what my home address is. I already have that completed. If I need to make a change, I would click this and be able to enter my new address. Maybe I moved over the summer and I need to make a change here. Again, proof of residency documents and continue. When I get to the parent guardian information, both guardians are listed, but this is highlighted in yellow. And campus tells you yellow indicates the person is missing required information. That's not technically correct because the information might all be there, but what is required is that you review each piece of information every year. And theoretically, you're signing off that that is still current information. So this is still the same information. This is still my phone number. Every year you have to choose PTA directory, yes or no. That doesn't carry over from year to year. And now I need to visit this person, go through their information. Again, choose the PTA and military and continue. Okay, now I can go on to emergency contacts. This is still my emergency contact person. If I wanted to remove this person, I could click this box and that would remove that person. A lot of times you have emergency contacts who change from year to year. So I'm not going to remove that person. I'm going to leave that person. This is still the correct information. And I have the option to add another person. If I had removed this person, I would have to add a new emergency contact. That would have removed my only emergency person, but I do have the choice to add someone new if I would like this year. I'm going to save and continue. And here's my child who is an existing student, again, highlighted yellow. There's information that I have to update for the coming year. Campus populates all of this information. I can, and this time it tells me what school the child is attending. This is all populated. I just need to click through and take a look and say, yes, this is still the sequence I want these people contacted in. Neighbor is number 3. Again, I have to acknowledge the technology agreement every year. I need to click on permissions every year. You need to fill out the health information every year. I'm going to say no, just in the interest of time here. If your child has a medication or condition that we need to know about, this has to be completed every year. This is not something that carries over. So please be aware of that. If you filled out allergies last year, you need to fill out allergies again this year. You're starting with a completely blank document as far as your child's health history and health needs are concerned. We have to update that every year to be sure that it is accurate. We're going to skip over that. I'm going to say this time, my child has no medical conditions, no medications. I do not need to be notified about pesticide application, and I don't need to know about the bus. Now, I have re-registered my 3rd grader for next year. What I can do if I have a new child beginning school, click that new button, and it opens up just like we saw in the new family, and you would add that child in here and work through each of these individual sections just like you did. Oops, I'm going to actually cancel that so that we can go through, save and continue, and then you get the same message. You can save that and print it, and it's submitted to the school.
Awesome. Are we having any questions at all, Julie, that we could answer that other people might be having from the chat?
So I'm actually typing answers into the chat. So I don't think there's anything pressing for the moment.
Okay,
Awesome.
so if I could just share one more little bit here. So in this, now I have to find it. On the district webpage here, there's this campus parent online registration process that opens up this slide presentation that really gives you a step-by-step guide to what we just worked through. So if you're more comfortable reading something than listening to a replay, you have the chance to kind of click through here and see, oops. Hold on, let me go back because there was one in here I wanted to share. So here's the dual language that we had mentioned before. So a child coming into kindergarten, that's the only time you have the option to add your child to the dual language program. It's a continuing program. You must begin in kindergarten to participate in that program. So this kind of explains a little bit about the dual language program. So you can see that this is pretty much exactly what we have just worked through. At the bottom here, there is a list of additional resources. So Introduction to Campus Parent, which Tim shared earlier, how to get into Campus Parent, how you can access different information that you need. District residency information page. What do you need to provide to show that you are a district resident? The district residency affidavit. If you're unable to provide the documentation we ask for, you can click that link and download a form that can be notarized to help in providing
Ani, can you go back real quick to that registration page and show where these slide decks are located?
Absolutely. So let's go to registration enrollment. And I went over here on the left toolbar to Infinite Campus, Campus Parent. So the slide deck that I just showed is this online registration process. The other part is this Campus Parent and introduction that parents might be able to use as a resource. And that kind of explains logging into Campus Parent and either from your phone or from a desktop, an activation key, which you have to get from the school office, creating your username and password. And then once you're in, how you navigate through the page and see your child's attendance information, your child's grade, once your child is attending. So that can be very helpful. And that's also, you would log in here if you're a returning parent and come down here to more, and that's where you access the registration page for a returning family.
And all these links we're going to have in the Parent University newsletter that's going to be sent out on Friday. And we have all of these slide resources available in both English and Spanish. So we'll have that as part of the publication along with a recording of this and our Spanish language presentation for registration, which is tomorrow night.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing if everybody sees where that is now.
Tim, did you want to just have one final pass? We just have a few minutes left here about if people need assistance or need help, who they contact or what their process is for that. I know.
Want to talk to somebody, we suggest, contact your student's building, the school that they'll be attending. But we do ask that you make an appointment with them, just because, they're going to want to be able to have the opportunity to sit down with you and spend time, with you and answer your questions fully. And if you just kind of pop in like first thing of the day when, all the kids are arriving, that's not really possible then. So it's better planning for everybody. Just call them up, make an appointment. They can walk you through any questions that you have at that point.
And if you need any further assistance past that, or you really are not, you guys have a support form too on the registration page that people can fill out if they need.
Yep, you can. There is a form on there you can fill out. They'll drop in and actually one of us will answer it. So you might be better off going to the school, but we'll get to those too.
We're all here on the same team though to help. Like we're gonna make sure that you get helped whichever way is the best way for that to work. So we're gonna make that happen.
And so we've done it. There have been cases in the past where we've had to have a few conversations to get some things unwound for parents. It's fine. We'll do whatever it takes to make sure your kids get registered.
So Beth, we do have a question. I have registered for kindergarten, my child for kindergarten. Will I get information in the mail or emailed to me? Will the school call me to set up a kindergarten evaluation appointment?
So the school will contact you with kindergarten information. I don't know that they do evaluations unless there is some concern. If your child doesn't have an IEP or 504 or a language issue. So not necessarily, but the schools will be contacting parents very regularly. It might take a while, because it's quite some time before these students actually begin kindergarten in August. And I know it's exciting for parents and they want to know all the information. There is on the website, I believe, there is a link to resources for kindergarten parents. I believe we don't actually own them, data services, but I know I've seen it there, and it's just chock full of information about your child starting kindergarten.
Thanks. And I can add that link. If we have questions like that, we can always make sure to add that into the newsletter too. Was there anything else, Julie?
No, that's it. But if I could add one more point about kindergarten, usually kindergarten classes in terms of sectioning for morning class or afternoon class. Usually that goes out at the beginning of the summer. So sometime around the beginning of June. It's one of the reasons we encourage our parents to register as early as they possibly can. That way we can get some accurate numbers in place to look at how to divide up our students within a building and how many students are within a classroom. We do have board targets in terms of what those class sizes look like. So the more quickly people can make the registrations, the better it is for everyone.
Yeah, it helps families plan and it helps the district plan to best serve our students. So that's a great point to bring up.
And if I could just add to that, Julie, is from a technical standpoint, we have to enroll our kindergarten students someplace so that they have an enrollment for next year. Most of those children this year are entered for PM kindergarten next year. If you see that on maybe a returning student enrollment, it doesn't necessarily mean that your child will be in PM kindergarten. We have to place them somewhere. Please don't panic. Please wait until you hear from the school and they will confirm your child's placement for next year. But technically we have to put all of those incoming kindergarten darlings someplace. And this year we put them in PM for next year. Doesn't mean they're all going in PM.
We got to get them bookmarked in a spot there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, everybody. Julie, thank you for being our host and answering questions on Facebook. And Bonnie and Tim from Data Services, thank you. We're all going to be back here tomorrow night. We're going to have a presentation with the help of our parent liaisons in Spanish. So we'll be here to answer any questions and provide any support. But Ana Flores and Addie Gonzalez will be hosting that event. And we're really looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow night at 6:30. Again, if you happen to catch part of this and you know a neighbor or a friend missed it, don't worry, this is being recorded. And we're going to share all of this information out in a Parent University newsletter on Friday so that people could rewatch this, or like Bonnie said, access the slides. Like Tim talked about, access the website. So we'll have all that information accessible on demand for our families. And if you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let us know. I agree with Tim. The best place to start are all the resources on the registration page. Then your next line would be the school secretary. And then there's a support form you can fill out. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time. I hope you have a great evening. Tim, Bonnie, Julie, thank you so much for coming tonight. Yeah, it was great to see everybody here. And then we hope to see you guys at our presentation tomorrow night, or like I said, you can always access on demand. All right, have a great evening. Thank you, everybody.